Welcome to Comicast, where we explore all things consciousness, culture, and connection. Today, we're interviewing Rhianah Harleigh, a professional dancer, a specialty artist, and the founder of Motion Lab, one of LA's most exciting movement communities. 26 years of training has brought her here, and today, we find out why. Let's get into it. Hi, Rhianah.
Hello, Kylie.
Thank you so much for coming today on Comicast.
Thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
I would like you to first introduce yourself to people who maybe don't know you. Give us like a short little introduction as to who you are, what you do, all the things.
Yeah.
Except short.
Cool. I'll try to keep it short. I do a lot. My name is Rhianah Harleigh. I have been dancing since I was 3 years old. I'm 29, and I'm now an instructor in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own project called Motion Lab that I launched about 3 years ago now. Yeah, thank you. Motion Lab is a safe space where dance and flow arts interlace. It's designed to be a safe haven for all the dancers in LA, and that's become my safe haven as well. So that's been, where I'm putting a lot of my eggs into that basket right now, into the Motion Lab basket. And I'm signed to a talent agency in LA, so I'm just, gigging out here and trying to make a name for myself in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely dive into all of that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to first start off with asking, so you, as you've mentioned, you've had 26 years in dance experience and a decade as a specialty artist. You're signed to an agency, as you just mentioned. That's a career built on discipline and dedication, and most people just can't fathom something like that. So before all of these accomplishments, right, what was your relationship to your body as a kid? Like, when did movement start becoming something that you did, and then when did it start to become like part of your identity or something you love to do?
I love this question
Yeah.
so much. And I really love to talk about this too. My whole family always, even now, they'll talk about how I was dancing before I could talk and walk. So I was, just a little baby bean, just jigging. Yeah.
Shake.
And then at around like 2, when I was walking and stuff like that, I would sit my whole family down on the sofa, and then I would exit stage left and hide behind the wall. Cue the music and make my big entrance and give them a whole dance. And it was usually to that song Bootylicious.
I love that.
Your parents were just like, for you, babe. You ready for this jelly? Yeah, I'm just like,
I want to see that video.
So good. Yeah, we didn't have video cameras back in the day. So God, I just aged the shit out of myself.
It's okay.
Oh God. But we unfortunately don't have footage of that. It just lives in our brains. But my whole family talks about it still to this day, that I was walking or dancing before I could walk and talk and stuff. So essentially, dance is my first language. I got into it very, very young. I started dancing. My family put me into dance when I was 3, into actual classes like ballet, tap, jazz, and stuff like that. And so I was on stages at a very early age, getting comfortable with that, and getting comfortable being aware of my body, being spatially aware of my environment, being on stage, being around other dancers on the stage.
Yeah.
So very, very in tune with my body at a very, very early age. And that's something I'm very grateful for, because it's not something that you can teach.
Yeah.
It's you have it or you don't. And I'm very grateful that it's something I possess, because dance it's my longest and my strongest love.
That's amazing. I actually can relate, because I've been dancing since I was 3 also. And
it shows.
I am so grateful, because you don't realize the amount of lack of body awareness that people have, because it's so inherently in you as someone who's grown up dancing. And then you see other people and you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And it's such a gift
really
to be able to say that and have that type of connection, right?
Absolutely. And girl, I didn't know you had been dancing since you were 3. It shows because you blew me away in motion lap. Oh, damn, she's a dancer for real.
It's just fun for me. It's like it's a way of release. Like it's a beautiful way to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that I don't put any professional stuff onto it. I never have. I just do it for fun. And
I think that's why it translates over so well to your viewers, because when you don't love it and you don't have fun doing it, it's not going to look good.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So that really shows on
Oh,
you.
thanks. Okay, so actually that's a good segue. So I know me personally, I didn't want to become a professional dancer for many reasons, but I wanted to ask you your experience as a professional dancer in LA, and what does that actually mean? Like, what does that world look like behind, Instagram and social media nowadays? And like, has it costed you anything, or have you gained a lot from it? What is your experience?
Wow, you are coming out with the heaters, Kylie. Good shit. I love these questions. Yeah, God, you're just hitting it right on the head, especially with the social media talk and stuff like that, because with anything else, social media is just showing people's highlights. It's showing people's good moments. People, for the most part, are on there, sharing their failures and sharing their sacrifices and, the negative parts of it, the hard parts of it.
Yeah.
And it's real, and it is part of it, no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's equally good and bad, just like anything else in the world. But being signed to this agency, Breezy Talent Agency in LA, it's changed my life. It has changed my life drastically. I am able to be put in these rooms that I wouldn't be able to put myself in because I have representation, because I have somebody behind me who's credible, who believes in me. So then other people will look at me. And so that side of being a professional dancer it's life-changing in the best way.
Okay.
And I'm very, very grateful for my agent and my agency. Shout out to my agent, Peyton. I fucking love you. Look at this. And yeah, then with that being said, on the other side of that coin, then comes Los Angeles, the competitiveness, the industry, and what it's become today. It's oversaturated. Everyone wants to be a professional dancer. It's very, very catty. It's very, very gatekeepy. It's very, very dog eat dog. It's cutthroat, this industry. To be a professional dancer is hard. It's really, really hard to get your foot in the door. And then once you do, it's very rare to find a team or an artist that treats you well. It's hard to find people who are, professional and abide by contracts and don't breach contracts and
don't see you as a competition also.
Yes. And also who don't see me as someone who's just disposable, who could be replaced like that.
Right.
Because that's a lot of what the dance world is. Yeah. It's, you're not permanent and you better act like it.
Yeah.
And so then, now, okay, I'm a professional dancer and I'm getting these professional jobs, but it's hard to find those gigs that really, really, treat you the way that you deserve to be treated.
Yeah.
And, I just came off this job, 4 months. It was supposed to be a longer job, but I ended my contract with the team because I wasn't being treated well. I wasn't being paid on time. They're breaching contract. I'm not being treated well. I'm being talked down to and belittled and told, hey, everyone wants your spot, so you better keep working hard.
Right.
And it started to destroy my mental health. Yeah. And when you said, does it keep you from other things? Or, can that hinder you in any way? Yeah, it started to. So it's really a matter of being a smart dancer, being smart talent, because, and I had to learn this the hard way.
Yeah.
You can take these opportunities because on paper it sounds great and, it sounds fun and it could change your life. It could be a huge resume moment. But are they going to treat you well? Are you gonna be, is your mental health gonna be taken care of?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be respected? Are you gonna be getting what you deserve on, a very minimal level, like, such as human decency?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
are they acting professional and things like that? Do you wanna continue to be associated even if these opportunities are big on your resume?
Yeah.
What can it do to your reputation?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just LA, right?
That's LA.
Yeah.
That's LA. And, there's a lot of people, the black sheep of every family comes to Los Angeles to chase a dream, and they'll step on anyone's toes and do whatever they got to do,
Sure.
no matter who you are or what they have to do. They'll do whatever they have to do to get where they want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are to them. So,
which makes it hard for those who aren't that way. Right? Because like they're if you do have integrity or if you don't want to step on toes, it makes it remarkably harder because you're like you almost feel like you have to.
Yeah.
And or you have to like give up your character in some way, which
Yeah.
is really unfortunate.
Absolutely. And that's exactly where it landed me. I was really in a position where I had to decide if I wanted to take the resume moments and completely sell my soul and not have my morals or integrity like you mentioned. Or do I want to stand up for myself? And after 4 months of just being so mentally taxed that I couldn't even step into other professional dance spaces that I really need to be tip top. I need to be sharp in those spaces.
Yeah.
I was stepping into them and I wasn't present. I'm, miserable and depressed because I'm being treated so awfully. And it was ultimately destroying my love for dance.
Yeah.
Which I can't have that.
Yeah. This is so great.
Yeah, it's my first language.
Yeah.
It's my savior. It's dance has saved my life time and time again. So, that once that was starting to be affected, I was like, this is enough.
Right.
And I told my agent, I'm, oh my goodness, I'm getting fired up here.
Excited.
I'm Italian. I talk with my hands.
It's okay. I am also, so don't even worry. I've knocked people's phones out of their hands. Oh my gosh.
That's what I do. Mics and everything have to be out the way. She said, make sure it's off the way. But yeah, so once that started to be affected, my love for dance and just me as a person and being able to step into classes and workshops for my agency and places where I need to be on top of it. I need to be present. And, and I deserve to enjoy those experiences because I love dance.
Yeah.
And if I can't tap into any of that, what is the point of any of this anyway?
Yeah.
So, I had to step away. I had my agent terminate my contract and now, I'm just focused on, my auditions again and my self-tapes for my agency. We get lots of commercial submissions and things like that. So even things outside of dance I can step into. So, lots of time for myself to dig into more professional and respectful gigs in the future.
And I think that's just something to celebrate also because I think when you're in LA, a lot of people could have that scarcity mindset. Like if they say no to this, then they'll never have anything ever again. But so I just want to credit you in being wise enough to be like, hey, this isn't serving me and that you're going to find something else that's more in alignment with you. So
thank you. Yeah. And I will say it took me time to get there. Like I'm human too.
It's a learning thing.
Yes. And I owe a lot of that to my best friend, Brittany, who really, really guided me through. Oh, I'm going to cry. She really guided me through the process because it wasn't an opportunity. It was a world tour. We were going to go on tour to all these places. Then we were going to do a UK tour. We were going to a lot of places. So it was hard to walk away.
Yeah.
It was really hard to say no thank you to those opportunities. But, like you said, ultimately, I believe that the universe will reward me. And it already is. I'm already being rewarded. I'm having a couple more studios reach out to me to pick up Motion Lab potentially. So,
well, I'm going to put good energy out for you. I'm going to tell everybody who's listening to put good energy out there for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Well, I do want to shift a little bit towards, so obviously we've talked about your background in dance and, you started classically training, but, flow dancing is very different, like the flow arts.
Yeah.
Right? And so how did you bring those two worlds together, and what got you there, and what would you say that one is giving you that the other one couldn't, or how they come together? I know that's a loaded question.
Just questions are immaculate. I know this is like the third time I've said it, but seriously, girl, the heaters. It's like, so I was, a classically trained dancer through high school, and then I took a bit of a break from studio training and competition life.
Which is crazy, by the way. I just want to say
it's crazy,
especially as a young girl. It's crazy.
It's nuts. I mean, even in like 5th grade, I didn't have friends or a social life. I was getting bad grades because I was just in dance all the time.
Day, 8 hours a day. Like, it was
on the weekends.
On the weekends.
Couldn't go to friends' birthday parties or like have your own.
Yeah. I would have like welts on my butt because like my ballet teacher was like hitting me with a ruler. It was bad. It was a weird time back then.
Looking back, I'm like, whoa, I was actually being abused as a child by a grown man. Like he would take our feet and bend like our toes to our ankles if we weren't pointing our toes throughout.
That's why I have a beautiful point now.
Me too. But every time I believe the word, it's pointed, bitch.
Anyway, sorry to derail.
No, so to get back on topic, so I took a break from studio life and competition life. When I was in high school, I got into like cheer, track, soccer.
Cool.
So I wanted to, test my physicality in different ways. And I was a little tired of, the same consistent system with dance. And so I needed to, liven things up a little bit. So I took a bit of a break from that. And then when I graduated from high school, went into college, and I was like, I don't want to be on the cheer team. Like, I liked it, but not that much to want to do it in college. Didn't really want to be on soccer or track. Loved it, but didn't really want to do it. I wanted to dance. So I was like, what can I do here? And I was at a very weird stage where I wasn't dancing. I wasn't playing sports. I was just out of high school. I was like, what do I do with myself? And that's when I got into raving. And my best friend at the time, she was a really amazing hula hooper. Like, she did the coolest shit. And I was like, girl, you gotta teach me how to do that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I mean, I'm not a good teacher. Like, this is how you do it. I don't know. Just try. Here's a hula hoop. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give it a go on my own then.
Yeah.
And I
crazy different
taught myself. Yeah. So just learned by trial and error. Sat in my backyard. I was living with my mom at the time, and she was like, are you on drugs? Because I like genuinely was like, are you on drugs? Because I was in the back like,
yeah.
Like, you look really silly and like weird when you're new to it. You
All
don't.
the ravers love it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, one day you'll understand, and now my family gets it.
Right.
But yeah, so I started experimenting with hula hoops and just fell in love with it, and progressed over a few years, and then I started teaching online. And then I started teaching in person, and then I started hosting little like park gatherings, like a workshop, I would call it. And I would just sell like $10 tickets or $5 tickets through Instagram. I'd post it on Instagram, and I would sell tickets through like Cash App or Venmo. And people would just show up to the park, and I would just teach them some stuff. And then I'd take like videos of them on my phone, and we'd post about it. And, then I went and tried out for a burlesque team, and I got chosen for the team, and I met my now best friend, Brittany, who I mentioned earlier. She's like my saving grace, seriously. We were on this team, and it was a terrible team. It fell apart, but we were like this after that.
Yeah.
And yes, she is the reason why I was on that team. Like, I was meant to meet her. It was actual destiny. So, when that team fell apart, I was devastated because I was like, I'm finally dancing again. And this is what I've been chasing. Like, I love my hoops, but I've been wanting to dance.
Yes.
So when that team fell apart, I was truly devastated. And she was like, girl, come on. This is not the end of your dance career. This is just the beginning. Come take heels classes with me. And I was like, what's a heels class?
Ooh.
So she introduced me to the whole heels world. She taught me what a burju is, a professional dance heel. She showed me what Playground LA is and what all these different studios are. She has her own studio in Seal Beach. She teaches at a studio up there. So she brought me to her heels class out there, and she brought me to other people's classes and sneakers classes and just introduced me to this whole world.
Yeah.
So once I tapped into that, I was like, oh my gosh, people go take dance classes and they professionally film them at the end, and
Very
the
intimidating.
flow arts world needs this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like light bulb moment. The flow arts world needs a taste of this. Like, this is amazing. So then Motion Lab is born. And, that's really where those two worlds married for me. Was when I learned about what heels are and those classes and the structure of them, and how can I adapt some of this to what I'm doing with hula hoops.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I owe a lot of that to Brittany and just the structure of how I do things with my class.
Okay.
Yeah, and marrying the two together.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to definitely talk about Motion Lab, but before we do, I just have this quick question about before we segue into that. So, like, I'm gonna merge these questions together. And
I believe in you.
so, thank you. So, like, you said that that flow is, you found it in the rave scene, so it probably has some type of stigma. There we go, on it. And some people might shy away from it because of the reputation that it gets. And yet people say, there's a flow state in psychology, and that, time disappears when you're in movement, and that it actually helps productivity and things like that. So what would you say with the flow arts and its reputation? And then can you speak also on the flow state in which it provides when you are doing the actual art itself?
Yeah, good question. So definitely, like the stigma that you mentioned, that is alive and well. Like I mentioned earlier, my mom's like, "Are you on drugs? You're out there with a freaking hula hoop. What are you doing, girl?" And of course, I was just getting into raving and stuff. So she's like, "Dude, what's going on?" And my whole family looked at me like that, like, "What the hell? A hula hoop?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that stigma is alive and well, and it's unfortunate. It's definitely a little stereotype, I'd like to say. And some people live that stereotype, and some people, the stereotype is there for a reason. So, it's not like it's just out of thin air.
Right.
That does happen. There are people who use it for purposes that are just being at the rave and wanting to use it in that environment only. And that's okay. But for me, and for a lot of other people, it's so much more than that. Like you said, you can reach a flow state if you're able to really tap into that side of things and that side of yourself, and that side of movement. Then you absolutely can reach a flow state. And what that can provide for you and what it can provide for me is, a safe haven, somewhere to run to, somewhere to escape. Coming up on 7 years ago, I lost my 15-year-old brother to a drunk driver. And when I lost him, I couldn't get out of my bed for about 6 months.
Right.
And my hula hoop saved me. My hula hoop and moving with my hoop and tapping into that side of myself and my brain and turning everything else off and letting everything else go. Everything else that I'm thinking about and feeling and dealing with and worrying about can go for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes. And obviously that's why so much of us stick with it. So many of us stick with it, with the art, and, tend to it and love on it and care for it. It really can do so much for you and your mental state and for your heart and for your body, for your fitness, like
All the
even if you're
things.
just using it as hula hoop fitness, with the weighted hoops and you don't even you really see it as dance so much. It can go so many different ways
Yeah.
and it can appeal to so many different people and wherever you're at in your journey with movement. And that's what I love about the circle.
Well, I first want to say thank you so much for your vulnerability, and I'm sorry for your
Course.
loss.
Thank you.
But I also think it's so beautiful that you were able to use this modality to reconnect with yourself. And because, like, even though it is an escape from reality sometimes in a way, it's also a reconnection,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's beautiful that that's what it did for you. And I'm sure it does for that's what dance does for me
Yeah.
also. Whenever I'm stressed, I'm like, I'm going to take a dance class.
Yeah.
It helps.
Get that
so
heart rate
much.
up, that movement. Yeah.
It works.
Movement medicine for real.
Yeah. And so, let's talk about motion lab.
Yeah, I feel like I've talked about it so much.
I know, but
It's my baby.
It's a
my
beautiful and wonderful thing. You are hosting it here at Comma monthly now.
Yes.
Fantastic, and we're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Yes, and so I took it, and it's awesome.
And she's
like, you should do it. But I want to ask you, so you have mentioned multiple times now that like Motion Lab is a safe space where, dance and flow arts are interlaced. So I understand that like what you've said before, the dance community can be a little toxic sometimes, but like specifically, what is it safe from? And like, what are the people what are they carrying when they walk through the door? And what do you think that they put down when they leave your class?
Great question.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So, and I mentioned that a lot of the structure came from my own experiences in the classes that I took. I feel like a lot of us as dancers will step into any space, really, even if it's a space you're comfortable in. But new space, old space, whatever it is, with a new instructor you're comfortable with new dancers, with dancers you've danced with a million times. Most of us still compare ourselves. Most of us still feel intimidation. What is this person better than me? Are they judging me because I messed up here? Are they judging me because I'm, not so great in this section? They're better than me in that section. I wish I looked like that in that section. Things like that. I do it. I still do it, and it's something I'm probably gonna have to work on for the rest of my life.
Right.
So, I really just want to lean into those fears and those walls that we put up as dancers, and lean into it and acknowledge it instead of running from it or acting like it doesn't exist or acting like you're crazy or like you just gotta get over it. Like, I've been dancing on stage since I was 3.
Yeah.
And I still do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, we're all probably going to have to keep working on it. So, Motion Lab is a safe space for you to come and work on those things, for you to walk into the door with those walls that you have up, the fear, the comparison, the intimidation. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right off the bat. That's why I did those talking points in the first lab I had here with you guys.
Yeah.
Because, I've even had people reach out to me and say, I want to come take Motion Lab, but I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like, that's not what Motion Lab is at all. I really, really pride myself in, teaching dance and teaching hoop and teaching how to blend the two and teaching confidence and stage presence and choreo retention and all of those things because they're skills. Each of those things are a skill in itself. So I do pride myself in teaching those things and helping dancers build on those skills. But more than any of those things, I pride myself on the community and the connection that Motion Lab brings.
Yeah.
I have a student, Jess. Shout out, Jess. She moved to LA and she came to Motion Lab, and she tells me all the time that Motion Lab changed her life. She didn't have friends. She didn't have people who understood her. She didn't have a place to go with her hoop that she could just be herself.
Yeah.
And tap into that and build on that and be seen for it and accepted for it and applauded for it. You know what I mean? She's amazing. I love that girl. But she's really been one of the main people to show me what Motion Lab can do for other people.
Yeah.
And that's my main goal, with Motion Lab, is to just create a safe environment for, if you've hooped for years or if you've never hooped at all, wherever you're at in your journey with movement or hoops, join us.
Yeah.
Come talk. Let's put those walls down together, and then let's move together.
Yeah.
So I really feel like putting those walls down before we dance, it lets you kind of, it's an icebreaker for a reason. It breaks the ice. You can get those jitters out. We can, it humanizes everybody instead of, it's this dancer next. No, this person next to me, this woman next to me, this man next to me, this human, and I feel like when you do that, it helps nurture connection, and it helps nurture training.
Yes.
Because when you're worried about all these outside things and fear and intimidation, those walls, when they're up, you can't relax into your training.
Yeah.
So I really feel like, those icebreakers are key right now for especially the new people who come into Motion Lab. Like, what is this? And where am I? And who are all of you people?
Yeah.
Here, this is what it is. And we're here to love each other. No one's here to judge each other. We're just here to connect and to move.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you personally, because I've taken so many dance classes, heels classes, all the things, but it's been a couple of years since I've danced. And so I was actually a little intimidated to come into class.
Yeah.
And
it's natural.
Yeah. And it's totally natural. But I can say personally, like whenever I go into a dance class, I'm very judgmental on myself.
Yeah.
I've always cared about the product after rather than the journey of the dance class, right? And it was so refreshing because I don't think I've ever had a dance class specifically, start with icebreakers and getting to know each other. And it got to the point where even at the end, when we were performing and stuff like that, I fucked up.
No one knew. No one could tell.
But it was cool because I could hear the genuine excitement about everyone when because the hoop fell on my face, and then I got it, and I was able to continue.
Yeah.
And I heard that we were actually being supportive of each other.
That just gave me chills.
It was wonderful. It was so beautiful, and I really think that is something you should be proud of because it really, I felt it. And it was really awesome.
I am very, very proud of that. Oh, no, yeah. It's very refreshing to experience spaces like that. And, that's what Brittany's class is for me. And I was able to build and become a heels dancer and become comfortable and find a supportive space and find a supportive group of women that I can dance in front of.
Yeah.
And, I'm really glad that other people are feeling that in my space as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course. I mean, I mean it. Absolutely. And so I want to ask you, so for the person who's listening and maybe is convinced to come, but maybe they're just a little intimidated or maybe they haven't danced in years.
Yeah.
What would you want them to know about what actually happens when you show up? I know we kind of touched on it, but for that person who's still on the fence, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that I love you and I really want to dance with you. I love building upon this community more than anything. Like I said, I love dance. I love dance so much. I love the steps and I love teaching it. But moreover, I really just love connecting and I love the community. And it has given me lifelong friends. It has given me people that I can lean on outside of dance, people that I can lean on when I'm sad, people that I can share my happy news with, people that I want to keep in my life. And I think that above all else speaks volumes. And I think that above all else is the reason why you should join me in Motion Lab, is for the connection.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it's a really amazing space, and it's growing into something really beautiful. And I would love it if more of y'all joined.
Yeah, please come.
Please come. So cute.
And then, so we're just gonna wrap up now. Is there anything that you wish that I asked, or wish that we spoke on before we wrap up?
Yeah. I would like to talk a little bit about the village that helps me keep Motion Lab afloat, because I know I mentioned it's been about 3 years since I launched. I've gotten my trademark. I've, stepped up with marketing and promoting, and now I have other studios looking at me, and I can't do it all by myself. I really can't. And when you're trying to do something big, you're going to need help along the way somewhere. And I'm not one of those people, like most in LA, that wants to be a one-man band and take the credit for everything. Thank you. And so that leads me to, I just really want to shout out my team. Yeah. My incredible team. First, I need to talk about Emily. Hypernova, or Chroma Void Studio on Instagram. She started off as my student, and we quickly became really good friends. She does all of my promo and marketing, all of my artwork, my visuals, everything you see online. That's beautiful. Motion Lab. It's amazing work. Everything you see is her. She sends me rollout plans for posting and how we're going to do it and what captions I should do. Everything, like detailed. Like she's a dream. Beautiful. She's a dream to work with. So I just hired her, brought her onto the team. So I couldn't go without her, obviously. And then from there, it's just snowballed. I've been bringing other people on as needed. And, they tend to be my friends, and that's my favorite part of it. So I have Dennis, who is Emily's husband. He's helping me with a lot of like logistics and handyman stuff, like rigging or props and fixing things and stuff like that. I also use their warehouse for a lot of promos, stuff like that. And then I need to talk about Brian, my good friend Brian. He helped me come up with the name Motion Lab, actually. He's an amazing visionary and amazing creative, and he helped me a lot honing in just early days the idea of Motion Lab, and he built my website for me. He really pushed me to see myself as an artist and a brand, and to believe in myself. So a huge thank you to him, and he continues to believe in me and my project, and that's just I'm so grateful for that. And then Rio, she's my co-curator. She's helping me come up with some future ideas that I can't speak on yet, because I can't reveal my next moves like that. But yeah, we have a lot of amazing things in the works that are going to be beyond a class, is all I will say. It's going to be much more of an experience. So she's been helping me a lot with that, and you'll be seeing a lot more of her. So thank you guys so much to my team. I really appreciate you guys. I couldn't do it without you. And thank you, Kylie. Thank you so much for having me, and Kama for having Motion Lab. I'm so excited for this journey.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, that's amazing that you have that type of role model. You are that type of leader that has the ability to thank everyone who's helped you get to where you're at. And I think that is so amazing.
Thanks.
So thank you for that.
Thank you. Of course.
And so last but not least, where can people find you? This is the time where you can shamelessly plug.
Shameless. I'm always shameless about that.
Do it. Plug away, girl.
So you can follow me personally on Instagram, Rhianah Harleigh 2.0. Should I spell that out?
We'll have it in the description. Don't even worry about it.
Here. And then Motion Lab, of course. Follow Motion Lab. It's RH Motion Lab on Instagram. We're always posting about our next installments and where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing. So come join us in the lab.
In the lab, in the next motion lab you have here at Karma.
29th.
On Monday, the 29th.
Yeah.
So if you see this and if you're curious, please come and
Now's
join.
the time. This is your sign. If you're here watching, this is your sign.
This is it. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Kylie.
it.
Thank you. Can I give you a hug?
Yes. Okay. After all the
Thank you so much.
thank you.